The following show is a paid program. This show is brought to you by CH Global Financial Services.
Hey family, what's up? I'm telling you, I'm excited today. I have the Kathy SAPP on my show. She is executive producer of Girlfriends Check-In. Hey lady, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you,
Oh
Cam?
man, I couldn't even sleep last night.
Oh,
I was so excited to see this, to talk to you today.
flattery will get you everywhere.
I appreciate it. And we know Girlfriends Check-In is a show where celebrity girlfriends, it says, share their life, love, laughter, and support in a one-of-a-kind virtual get-together every Saturday night. I love that, lady.
That's right. Yeah. It's been a lot of fun producing the show for OWN. I'm a big
Yes.
fan of Lady Oprah Winfrey, so to be a part of her family and team right now is really a good thing.
Absolutely.
And the
Oh, that's
show's doing well.
perfect. Executive producer, showrunner. Where did we get our start in television?
Well, I'll tell you, I went from being a flight attendant. I've been a flight attendant for about 5 years, and I left Texas Southern University and decided that, you know what, I'm going to go see the world and just go around and fly around and be a fly girl. I did that for a few years and decided, okay, people are becoming very uncivil. And so let me get off this airplane and get back in school and finish up my degree, which is what I did. And that's why I'll tell a lot of people it's never too late to go back and get your degree. So what I did is went over to Texas Southern, got into journalism school, finished up my degree my last semester at Texas Southern University. Was when the Republican convention came to Houston, and I got an opportunity to be an intern for CBS Network in New York because the Republican convention came to Houston at the Astrodome. My assignment was working with Dan Rather, and I took advantage of that opportunity and just, really showed up and showed out in the little few days that I had to work that convention. And Dan had his people call me and invite me to come to New York after graduation. And they said there's something there for me. And I moved to New York and decided to work on Ed Bradley's news magazine, Street Stories. And I got on a really fast track and just started moving up, and the OJ trial came along, and that really opened up doors for me because I started actually by that time producing for Dan in the evening news. Then once I did that, I started working on other news magazines for the network, and eventually moved back to Houston after having my son and going through a divorce. It was just like, I need to get out of the city. I can't afford it now. And I came home to Houston and worked with Deborah Duncan when she was at ABC 13 and became a talk show producer. So I transitioned from news to being a talk show producer. Once that happened, I was there about 3 years, and then I moved over to Fox, and they started doing court television shows. And so once I got over to Fox, I worked on the court television shows, Texas Justice, Judge Alex, and then Judge Alex, we got into our 5th season, and they moved the show to Los Angeles. And that's how I ended up in Los Angeles, which is where I've been for the last 10 years. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's been quite the journey. Right now, once I got to LA, Judge Alex went another 4 or 5 seasons, and it became expensive to produce. And so the show went away. And then I started producing a show called Judge Faith. And we did that show for about 3 or 4 seasons. But in between that, I've done a little bit of everything. I've done home makeover shows. I did a show called Armed and Famous where I produced LaToya Jackson, who became a real cop, and I followed her around with her partner in Muncie, Indiana. And it's just been quite the journey. So the more you do, the more you learn. And I'm, been in the business over 20 years and I'm still learning. So, yeah.
I love that. Your sorors, your sorority sisters want me to specifically say, shout out to Delta Sigma Theta.
Yes. Love my sorors. Hey, girls. Yep, love them.
Absolutely. Texas Southern alumni have also said, shout out to them.
I love Texas Southern University. There's nothing like an HBCU. I believe, I've done both. For a little minute, I did U of H, but then I made my way over to Texas Southern, which was the best move I could have ever made. The thing about a HBCU, and I'll say that to anyone considering college right now, young people, if you're African American, I am a proponent of HBCUs.
Yes.
For a number of reasons. You have people that tend to nurture you more and care about what you do and how you come up, and you have a support system. I mean, the fact that the alumni called you and said, please shout out to her. So that just lets you know. Yeah.
I love that. Also, the Houston Association of Black Journalists, Nakia Cooper, says shout out to you also.
Yeah,
shout out to her.
The HABJ, which since I've been in Houston for the last 6 months or so, I've rejoined the organization because Houston is home.
Yes.
And eventually I would love to come back and get another show running here. When I was running Judge Alex, we were the only nationally syndicated show running in the city, and we had a big staff and people were working. And, it just speaks to the fact that there are people that can do production right here in Houston.
Yes.
Very experienced people. And, one of the things that I do in addition to producing shows is develop content and sell shows.
Yes.
So I've really been working on a couple of pilots here and a couple of projects that if they get the green light, they will come to Houston. I had the opportunity to attend the Mayor's Entertainment Summit, which was, I think, at the beginning of 2017, and really got to see how the city has evolved with respect to what's available for people in production. So I know that we can do shows here, and I know that we have talent here, and I'd like to get it back here.
I'm glad you spoke on that extensively. What is needed to get Houston be viable for more of the entertainment? What do you think is needed here?
I just think that companies and production companies and networks and studios in New York and LA and Atlanta need to understand that we have a full-blown production family here in Houston.
Yes.
We can do movies, we can do television, we can do scripted reality. It is a hub for entertainment, but for whatever reason, I don't know why people don't understand that. I mean, I know a lot of people will go to go.
Right.
There's,
Okay.
there's programming right here.
There you go. There's programming right here. I agree with that. We saw executive producer on there, but you're also a showrunner. What does a showrunner do?
Well, a showrunner, they're really interchangeable,
Okay.
but it is what I do. I run a whole show. I
Right.
staff the show. I get beyond the creative. I manage the budgets for the show. And I have lots of input on the editorial content of the show,
Wow.
which is really important as a Black female. When I first started doing court shows, when they first came out, they were kind of Jerry Springerish, and some of them still are. And once I was able to run a show, I had the opportunity, since I had the last say,
Yeah.
in how we look on television.
Right.
So everyone's not neck popping and dropping ebonics or whatever. Everything fits. Entertainment is entertainment.
Right.
And you can be entertained without being ratchet, without being all of the things that I think don't represent who we really are and the people that I know in my world. So, yeah.
Absolutely. We had talked a little bit before coming on the show, and you were telling me about the fact when you left coming from Houston and you were going to LA and you went to the Fox, network, and you were bringing your, people with you, including yourself. What did they tell you when you first showed up?
That was interesting. When we packed up and we went to Los Angeles and we were on the Fox lot, is where Judge Alex was housed, and we were shooting the show from the Fox lot. And what I do is I believe in reaching back and bringing up people right with me. Somebody gave me an opportunity, and I think when you get into positions like mine, you need to give opportunities to your people.
Right.
So I had probably about 5 or 6 people that were here in Houston, and everyone got on the road and went to LA, and we went to produce Judge Alex. When we got to the lot, they took the staff on a tour of the lot so that we'd know where to go, where the cafeteria is, just everything. And one of the security guards came up and he said, "Oh, so who are you guys? Are you guys with the United Negro College Fund or what?" And I was like, "No, we're Judge Alex." And they were like, "What?" It spread like wildfire that there are all these Black people with Judge Alex. The executive producer is Black. Her supervising producer is Black. Her senior producer is Black. I mean, and that was, I just couldn't believe that they had never, seen us. But I just say, don't be afraid to make a move.
Right. And that was in 2010.
That was in 2010. And really, a lot of the young people on the staff here in Houston were like, "I'm going to LA." And they weren't afraid. And some of my, close producer friends came along with me because you need to have people that have your back.
Now, that's true. You're right.
Yeah. And when you get into a position like mine, you need to have people that have your back. And my supervising producer, Tara Stidham, and my senior producer, Kim Gagne, they had my back. Exactly. And believe me, we walked into some situations, but they had my back. And we did our show. And we ran for 5 more seasons. So,
wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's something in 2010. You're saying that they still assume that and have never seen a group of African Americans in that position.
No,
wow.
They hadn't seen it, not on the lot. No.
Right. How important is it for the television entertainment to be now that COVID and our turmoil? How important is it for entertainment?
I think that entertainment is really important. The show that I'm producing now, Girlfriends Check In,
Yes.
it's just it's a getaway. You know,
Yes.
it's a Saturday night. Grab your girlfriends, grab your cocktail, your mocktail, whatever, and let's just chat it up. And the way this show came about is one of the executives at OWN would have these virtual calls, happy hours with her girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, the idea came about, they fleshed it out and said, well, let's do it with celebrities because, you know, everyone loves being able to be a little voyeuristic
Right.
and look into the world of celebrities. And the celebrities have been really, really fun. They've been diverse. And they've just played along with us, and we've had good shows. Yeah.
I actually looked at Girlfriends Check In, and I tell you, ladies, if you need to look at it, okay? Guys can look at it, but ladies, you will really resonate with a lot of the ladies. Is transparency. Many of them are transparent in a lot of their talks, and they're just discussing with their girlfriends what they did that week, what they did that month, what's happening in the family. And I'm telling you, Lady Kathy Sapp, it's a masterpiece. It really is. I loved it.
Thank you. You know, the order was originally for 6 episodes, and we got 2 episodes in, and the network ordered 8 more.
Wow.
So we have more new episodes coming out July 11th, and we're on OWN, of course. And here in Houston, we're on at 9 p.m. Yeah.
And we were talking about a little earlier, how did they find you for this project?
I had been, I started my career in news in New York, and one of the people that I started out in the business with, he started out when I started out, is Tom Foreman. Mm-hmm. And Tom's claim to fame is he created Extreme Home Makeovers. Yeah. So he went on this whirlwind, shoot up the ladder and got a development deal with CBS, and that's how I ended up doing Armed and Famous with him with LaToya Jackson, and that was a few years back. And then he called me right when when everything shut down. He called me. It was like around April, and he said, "I've got a project with OWN. Are you available? Where are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm in Houston. I am available." And he said, "It won't matter. You can shoot the show from your home in Houston." And I was really intrigued then. And then I met with the OWN executives, everything via Zoom or, some virtual platform. And they hired me to be the showrunner, and off we went. We literally had about 6 weeks to get the first show on the air, which is not a lot of time. If you're in production, you know that.
Yes.
But had a little team that could. Powerful Black girl magic going on my staff. Yes. And we did it because we were not going to be defeated. So, yeah.
Well, trust me, it's truly a masterpiece. When we come back with Kathy Sapp, we will talk more about Kathy Sapp, executive producer and Girlfriends Check-In.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
Houston's only Cadillac to your door dealer, Ron Carter Cadillac, delivers test drives to your home or office. For a limited time, get $16,000 off all in-stock Cadillac 2019 XT5 crossovers and $19,000 off all in-stock 2019 CT6 sedans. Or experience the first ever 2020 Cadillac XT6 Premium Luxury Collection, only $519 with $1 down for 39 months lease. Or purchase and receive 0.9% APR for 72 months with no payments until November. RonCarterCadillac.com.
When it comes to protecting yourself and your partners, all the information out there can be overwhelming. Visit our website. We are a free and confidential service striving to help you stay informed and stay notified. We are committed to a healthy Houston.
Houston's only Cadillac to your door dealer, Ron Carter Cadillac, delivers test drives to your home or office. Drive the new 2020 Cadillac XT4, only $399 a month, or the new 2020 XT5, only $429 a month, both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase the XT4 or XT5 and enjoy 0.9% APR for 72 months with no payments until November. RonCarterCadillac.com.
Our story begins more than 60 years ago inside an abandoned chicken coop where our founder discovered a retired teacher living. No home, no health care. So she said no to this injustice and yes to transforming lives. It's this drive, this compassion that inspired AARP. Today we empower people to choose how they live as they age. We advocate for health and financial security. We strengthen communities everywhere. We are AARP, creating real possibilities.
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, thank you for coming back. We are with Kathy Sapp, executive producer, showrunner for Girlfriends Check-In. Hey, lady, how you doing?
Good.
So we
Glad
were
to be
just,
here.
oh, I'm so excited that you're here. We were just talking about Girlfriends Check-In, how you became the producer, and a lot of the questions are the synergy with the ladies. How do you bring the celebrity ladies together? Their synergy. They're just great together, it seems.
Well, we have one girlfriend that's typically the lead girlfriend, and she invites other girlfriends to gather in on her call, her Zoom call.
Right.
And, the whole premise of the show is that we practice social distancing.
Yes.
And stay safe because COVID-19 is affecting our community more than most.
Right.
And Miss Winfrey made it very clear to everyone in her organization that people need to stay safe. We can still do some programming, but they need to be, safe. Hollywood has shut down, so, and everything we can't do anymore. So what we do is we send a little kit over to our celebrities, and we have a tech team that helps them get it all set up. It's not that difficult. And the girlfriends, we figure out what makes them all tick and why they are girlfriends. And then we build a show around the subjects and the topics that are, of interest to them. And we get a little glimpse into, a lot of people are having to do things they haven't done before, like cook all the time because of lockdown. Everyone's cooking.
Yes.
And so we want the ladies to just play along with us. We come up with creative ideas. Take us to the kitchen. Show us what's going on. What is your beauty regimen now? What are you doing about the fact that you cannot go get your nails done? And it's been really, really interesting. And they just let their hair down and they have fun. And I think probably the most memorable episode is with Tisha Campbell, Kim Whitley, Holly Robinson Pete, and AJ Johnson. Those ladies had a good time. They turned up.
Yes.
But then we also did Houston's own Yolanda Adams with Tamala Mann, Eric Campbell, and Tasha Cobbs Leonard, a group of gospel divas.
Right.
And they had a great time. I mean, you get to know the people that you see out there in the world of celebrity.
Yes.
Just a little, it's a little bit of voyeurism into their world, and they really are authentic and they're friends, and it just shows. Yeah.
And many times I love the fact that when they first get started, they somewhat, in some occasions, they tell how they met. I met you by this, and then we blended together with this. I looked at those two, and then I looked at the one with Lonnie Love, and I could not stop laughing.
Oh my God. Lonnie and Tammy Roman. And one thing about that show was, because we're in a new world of production with technology in the middle of it and being the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Tammy was having quite a bit of problems with her internet connection. Mm-hmm. And what had happened is, we normally test everything and we know, what the speeds are and all of that. And Tammy had tested fine. 2 days went by, and then there was an earthquake in Los Angeles, and it was a mile away from her home. And so we had issues.
Yes.
But Lonnie, being the pro that she is, Lonnie just went with it. When Tammy would freeze up, she'd make fun of her.
Yes, she would.
When Tammy would come out of it, Tammy, they're all pros. And so that was an entertaining show for sure.
It was too funny. Sure. It was just too funny. It was too funny.
Yeah.
I love.
We've got one coming up that we just shot for the next set of 8 episodes with Kim Whitley. Brought her own group of girlfriends in this time.
Oh, wow.
And she has Lunel, Jess Hilarious, and Wendy Raquel Robinson. And just hold on. It's going to be fun.
What'd you say? Hold your seat.
Hold on, because and that show will be coming. That'll be the first show up for the next 8 episodes, which is going to be airing next Saturday, July 11th.
Oh my God!
I'm just telling you. I mean, if you know Lunel, she's a comedian to herself, and then you put all three. All of the ladies are just funny, entertaining, and as I said, just get ready, ladies, get ready.
I love the fact that you don't have to be ratchet.
No, no, you do not have to be ratchet. You just be yourself. And, they're friends, so the conversations are authentic, and there's nothing scripted.
Right.
Because their conversation.
Yes.
It's their girlfriend check-in.
Right.
And, we're getting a lot of response on Twitter and Instagram. Mm-hmm. Women are loving to check in. They're having their own girlfriend check-ins, watching the show, which I invite a lot of people to do. I mean, it's actually fun to watch it with a group of ladies.
Yes.
And you guys can, at the end of every act, talk about what happened, and at the end of the show,
right?
Just explore what the ladies talked about. What did you learn? We've gotten a lot of feedback. A lot of ladies are sharing their facial mask and beauty regimens, and people love that. And it's like connecting with celebrities.
It is. I love and I've heard a lot of that too, where ladies have gotten together and that's their, happy hour type of thing on a Saturday, or their get together, they're going out. I've seen some ladies, they do get dressed up and they go out, they're sitting there with each other, and that's what they're doing together.
And, a lot of the ladies will say, what they miss most is being able to connect with their girlfriends, go to brunch, let's meet up and go get our nails done. Let's go shopping. And the other thing I learned is that a lot of the ladies who have children, they've had to deal with becoming teachers and homeschooling.
Yes.
And that has been a big, big challenge for a lot of people. And shout out to teachers. I've always had respect
Me too,
for teachers.
yes.
I mean, teachers should be paid more than NFL players,
Exactly.
Prescott or anybody like that. I mean, those are the real heroes in our country. The people, the public servants that, provide for us.
Trust me, because Johnny, when Johnny was showing out in school, he really was showing out in school. They found that out.
Now you know. Yeah. I think one of the celebrities, I can't remember which one, even said she called her child's teacher and said, "I'm sorry. I am sorry that I just, ignored your calls and told, and just really poo-pooed you. But no, you are a shero or a hero."
Absolutely. 8 hours a day they're doing this for 9.
I tried, my son now, I have a 22-year-old. He's at Texas Southern University and
wow, good.
His about to start his 3rd year. But here's the thing: when he was younger, I used to be homeroom mom, because when you're in production, you have hiatus periods and that type of thing.
Right.
And one day I decided I would help the teacher out. And, she says, "Can you sub this one day while I'm in?" That was the one day and the only day. Yeah.
That's the last day.
That was the last day. And that's when I really, really, just got real respect for teachers.
Right.
I always did respect them. But when you're in that room with those kids,
yes,
it's
yes. It's a whole nother world, I tell you.
It is. It's like being on the front line of something. I don't know what.
It's truly on the front line, I tell you. Because, parents were now staying at home. Well, now they're there forever, but they were at that time thinking, oh, it's going to be one day. Oh, it's going to be this week. Oh, by the way, they've shut the school down. I saw so many parents going to happy hour.
Yeah.
And dropping their children off at daycare.
Right. And now they don't know what they're going to do.
Right.
They don't know whether school's going to open up. I mean, my son's over at TSU, and he just got word that more than likely they will be going online.
Online, right.
For the fall, yeah.
Absolutely.
But, the kids that are out there, the young kids, elementary kids.
Yes.
And the parents who need to go to work.
Yes.
I feel for everybody. It's just been, the whole world's been turned upside down. And then, on top of that, we're in the middle, for me, of a revolution. Yeah. And that's after the George Floyd situation that came up. Watching the murder of George Floyd was, it just changed everything.
Right.
Literally, I'm down the street. My mom is in 3rd Ward.
Yes,
right down the street from, where he went to Jack Yates, and my brothers went to Jack Yates. And, it's just so close to home, and yet it's still happening. Our young Black men are being murdered.
Yes.
And women now. There was a time you didn't even have to worry about girls, but now you have to worry about if you're a female.
Yes.
And you get pulled over by the wrong person. And look, I have lots of respect for police officers. Once I did the show with LaToya Jackson, and part of the way we did that show is the celebrities. There were 5 celebrities that became cops.
Yes.
And they go through a training. Mm-hmm. And they're basically reserve cops.
Right.
But she had a partner, and then I'm in what's called a chase vehicle behind them. And believe me, my son, I think at the time was maybe about 8 or 10. Mm-hmm. And all of the producers, we had 5 celebrities, all the producers were like, "Oh, I'm not wearing a bulletproof vest. Oh, no, especially the guys. No, I'm not, I'm not wearing." And after one call, everybody put their bulletproof vest on. You don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know when they make a stop and they pull you over. You don't know what you're walking up to.
You don't.
So, that's when I've always respected cops. But that is when I knew, okay, you just don't know. However, it does not excuse the bad apples out there. And obviously there are a lot of bad apples as you see these stories come out.
Yes.
Every day there's a new story about, someone screaming, "I can't breathe."
Right.
And
right.
I don't know. That's a whole nother subject for me.
It sure is.
I'm a news junkie. I get up every day. I have to know what's going on. And then I get to my show. And when I finish with you, I'm going to be shooting in the next couple of minutes here with LaToya Luckett and her friends.
Yes.
And so, but we cannot lose sight of the movement. It's not a movement. And I think that people should not focus. I mean, we should take down monuments and all of that, but we cannot lose focus on reform. We need reform, and we need to get out and we need to vote. We need to vote like we've never voted before.
Yes.
There was when they had the election not too long ago, I read about a guy at in the lines at Texas Southern.
Yes.
And he was in line for, 5 or 6 hours, and he stayed until the end to get his vote in.
Yes.
That's how we have to do it.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. We have to. That is so true, Kathy. We have to vote. It's not an option. It's not an option.
Nope. Not an option at all. And we need to wear a mask, and we need to not act like this isn't happening.
Yes.
And just because the governor says whatever he says, whatever.
Right. We have to do it. You're right. So many people ask, how do you produce the show from Houston?
Well, believe it or not, I am in my bedroom. I did put a little background up. But I'm usually just like in a corner in my bedroom because this is where it's quiet. Every now and then my dog is in the hallway and he starts barking, and it's like, oh my God. But I actually run the show from right here in 3rd Ward in my bedroom.
Wow.
I have production meetings with my producers, and then production meetings with my full crew, technical crew. And then when the show starts shooting, I'm the one that's really directing the movement of the show with the celebrities. But for the most part, I like for them to just let it, just you do your thing. You guys talk. Do what you want to do, and if you have a question, I can jump in and say, let's do that again.
Right.
But for the most part, the ladies, they're friends. So, and I want them to understand that because you are friends, it's a conversation. Just act as though we're not even here.
Yes.
And that's usually what they do. So that, every show I've done has been right here in 3rd Ward, Texas.
That sounds great. When we get back, we're going to talk more to Kathy Sapp.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
When it comes to protecting yourself and your partners, all the information out there can be overwhelming. Visit our website. We are a free and confidential service striving to help you stay informed and stay notified. We are committed to a healthy Houston.
Houston's only Cadillac to your door dealer, Ron Carter Cadillac, delivers test drives to your home or office. Drive the new 2020 Cadillac XT4, only $399 a month, or the new 2020 XT5, only $429 a month, both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase the XT4 or XT5 and enjoy 0.9% APR for 72 months with no payments until November. RonCarterCadillac.com.
Our story begins more than 60 years ago, inside an abandoned chicken coop, where our founder discovered a retired teacher living. No home, no health care. So she said no to this injustice, and yes to transforming lives. It's this drive, this compassion that inspired AARP. Today, we empower people to choose how they live as they age. We advocate for health and financial security. We strengthen communities everywhere. We are AARP, creating real possibilities.
Houston's only Cadillac to your door dealer, Ron Carter Cadillac, delivers test drives to your home or office. For a limited time, get $16,000 off all in-stock Cadillac 2019 XT5 crossovers and $19,000 off all in-stock 2019 CT6 sedans. Or experience the first ever 2020 Cadillac XT6 Premium Luxury Collection, only $519 with $1 down for 39 months lease. Or purchase and receive 0.9% APR for 72 months with no payments until November. RonCarterCadillac.com.
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey family, thank you so much for coming back. We're here talking to Kathy SAPP, executive producer, Girlfriends Check-In. Hey lady, we were just talking about you being in your bedroom doing production.
Yeah. Producing right here in Houston, and that's why I know that production should come back here. If I get to come back here, sit in my bedroom and produce a national show, we're ready. We're ready. I know all the people that are in the town that can come together and put a show together. So matter of fact, one of my producers is here in Houston. When we got the additional 8 episodes, I lost a couple of my producers because it was only supposed to be an order for 6 episodes. So I had to replace them, and there's a superstar producer right here in Houston, and I called her, and she's producing shows with me now. Yeah.
Shout out to her. I love that.
Shout out to Kim Gagne.
Yes. Shout out to you.
Yeah, we had a great show yesterday, and we hadn't worked together in a while since Kim was one of the producers that went with me to Los Angeles.
Wow.
And fortunately, she had a husband that was behind her and kept the kids, because her kids were young then. Mm-hmm. And so, but she took advantage of the opportunity, and from there, she left LA, and then she moved over and jumped over to Chicago with Steve Harvey and company. And she's a perfect example of take the leap, because she was a little reticent in the beginning, but when her husband let her know that, hey, I got your back, I got the kids, and she got to come and really show up and show out. And now we're working together again. I was so happy to be able to call her and see if she had a moment to come and produce this show with me.
Strangely enough, we know him a little bit. I just don't know what his name is.
Oh, yes, Mr. White, Mr. Emilian White. And he, he is that guy. I can remember when I went to Los Angeles, and my son, he was young. He was like 8 or 9, and he had to stay in Houston with my mom through the end of his school year. And that whole premise of it takes a village, is what Emilian and Kim have been about.
Yes.
Emilian knew that my mom was here, trying to handle I think my son was 8 or 9. He would call and, invite my son to go to WWF or whatever, one of those wrestling things. And, because he has a ticket, he can get you a ticket to anything. So,
Yeah. He can.
And he took him to like ice capades, and so when you have people like that around you, you can afford to take a chance and take a leap of faith and go out and try something new. You can get out of Houston for a minute, and then you can circle back around and bring back production to the city, which is where I am. I really, I've been in LA for 10 years. It's nice. The weather is the best. No humidity. However, family is here, and it's just easier living here. And with that being said, I'd love to bring shows back to Houston and just get the production family in this town back up and running.
I think that's great. We know him very well here. He's over A-Star that I'm on, A-Star TV. And I thank him for the opportunity too. He does give you the opportunity, and he's such a great person. Emilian White, I'm telling you, he is one of the best. In looking at Houston, and I know you love Houston a lot, in talking to you over and over, and we've talked about production and things. I've heard so many people talk about the budgeting and the amount and the income and things about bringing production here, that maybe it doesn't award the tax rebates or whatever that's needed that maybe other cities do. Do you think we have to do that, or do you think we're fine as we are?
Well, I mean, tax credits make a difference.
Yes.
That's why that's why Atlanta has become the new Hollywood.
Yes.
Because you get great tax incentives in Atlanta. There are incentives here in Houston. Just have to know what they are and how to get them. I think that, it's good to have the tax incentives, it's a right to work state. So you don't always have to have a union crew, which automatically cuts on your budgets. And I have nothing against working with union crews, but in the state of Texas, let's just be real. Most people, want people that are able to just work for them, right to work state, and you don't have to adhere to a lot of the stringent budgetary restraints that you get, with the show, the union show.
Yes.
I think we can bring, I feel like Houston has everything that Atlanta has, and then some. And then if you needed to, shoot a show in Houston and you need a certain scene, just a couple of hours up the highway is Austin if you need to go to the mountains.
Right.
Or, so there's a way to keep production working in Houston. And if you need, to go out on some type of shoot, you can do that right still within the state of Texas.
Yes. And
bring in those incentives that the state does offer. There are incentives. It's just, you have to know what they are and what the parameters are to get them.
That's great. That's great. You have some new projects out?
Well, I've been working. I've worked on a couple of projects.
Yes.
Several. Well, actually, I have 3 projects that are looking very promising. We're signing contracts, and they're with 3 local Houston people.
Great.
Big personalities, and have done some television, and we're just gonna. And when we get those deals done, we'll be coming to Houston to shoot them.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And, development is one of the things I love.
Yes.
And I get calls from people all the time about, I have an idea. This is what I'd like to do. I already shot something, and it's like, when you tell me you've already shot something, that worries me, because at that point, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to have to take what you shot and fix it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I've learned what it takes and what they expect when you pitch a show.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just, even if it's a great idea, if you won't allow me to have my creative input, I'll just step back.
Right.
Because I've worked on my reputation, and I really, I expect you to trust me to deliver, and then we see how far we can take it. And I make it very clear that there's no promises, because while, we may have shot something last November, look at what just happened. We're in a pandemic now.
We're in a pandemic.
Everything's shut down.
Yes.
So I can't make promises that, it's going to go on the air. It could be the best idea in the world.
Right.
But what can we do right now?
Right. Absolutely.
There's nothing we can do.
Nothing we can do. Yeah, absolutely. The other thing people want to know, there are people at home right now. Many people have either been laid off, furloughed, or just at a point in their lives that they've worked so long at this job that they still have that dream inside of them. They've wanted to do something else all of their life, but they've never jumped. They never take that leap. What would you tell those people?
I would tell them, take the leap if you can. I took the leap.
Yes.
I said that I was going to, when I became a flight attendant, I said, I'm going to do this for about, 5 years, and then I'll go back to school and finish up my degree and become a writer for a newspaper and all of that. And what I did is I was able to embrace being a flight attendant. I flew all over the world and had a great time, being a fly girl. And then I got to a point where I was like, okay, I've enough of this, and let me finish up my degree. And I tell people, even if you started college and whatever happened, you did not finish, it's never too late to go back. It's what I did. And when I went back, God opened up all kinds of doors and opportunities, and, put me in front of Dan Rather, of all people. And so that opened up my whole television career. The fact that, I was still single. I got up, I moved to New York. When I was a flight attendant, I used to say, when I would have a layover in New York, I used to say, oh my God, never would I live in this city. I can't live here. And never say never, because usually that'll happen if you do. And so I moved to New York, had a great experience. And I'm glad that I did. So I would just tell people, don't be afraid. Just jump on in there and do it, because you can.
I love
Believe
that.
in yourself.
Yeah, believe in yourself, definitely. Because so many people, just like you said, and I like what you were talking about with Kim Gagne and her husband, Emilian, that he said, go ahead and do it, honey. Take it, go do your career. And many times, so many families, like women, for instance, say, no, I can't leave my family. And that's just, to leave their children behind.
Mm-hmm. Right. And if you're in a situation like Kim and Emilian, they were married. They're a couple. There's no divorce. There's no single parenting or anything. So, you should be able to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
And then it speaks to how you feel about yourself.
Yes.
And if you're confident in yourself and you're confident in your marriage, and let her spread her wings. And that's what she did. She's like Emmy award-winning producer now.
Yes.
And that would have never happened without making those moves.
Right. And I love the way you left, single mom, and you left and you said, hey, I need to do this right now for my family.
Yeah. And I did. My son did not, he didn't want to leave, Houston and his grandma and his cousin. And once he got there, he was fine,
Right.
And then he didn't run anything. I run things, I was the parent. So, I'll say that, just don't let your kids run things. You know what, you have to follow what you think is going to be the best thing for, your family in the end. Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that because, again, we have 40 million plus people filed for unemployment not too long ago. And that might be something they may have to relocate, to continue, as in some type of career as well as financial for their family.
I mean, Houston is very viable for good living. You can buy a beautiful home for $350,000 and just live very well. Whereas in LA, $350,000 might get you a 1-bedroom apartment.
Right.
If you buy a townhome.
Yes.
So the living is easier. And I think that, I'd love to see, once we get through COVID and pandemic and all of that, I'd love to see the city of Houston really take on a big, big, huge marketing plan and sell the city, because there's a lot here. And there's so much we can do in the world of entertainment and production. So that's what I hope to see happen, as we move out of COVID-19. And I don't know when that's going to happen. I mean, the governor's shutting things down again. We're back to, while we were getting ready for this, I got some, like an Amber Alert about, you must wear your mask, and they're thinking of a stay-at-home order.
Right.
Now, so.
Right. Because they've just closed down the beaches. They've just closed down, a lot of the, of course, they closed the bars and that, cut back on the percentages of the restaurants as we were gradually going up, because our numbers have just increased so rapidly.
Well, because people started acting crazy. Let's get real about it. I was driving down Alameda, and I won't call the name of the place, but literally, I don't understand that. People are out there with no mask, lined up,
in line,
back to back, wall to wall, miles long. Go home and cook whatever you need.
Right.
It's just like, no. Mm-mm.
Right.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it, because we need to understand. I feel like Americans in general are very spoiled. And this whole notion of, oh no, you can't tell me, what I can't do. You guys need to get over that.
Yes.
You see the situation we've been in for the last 3 years. So
yes.
That happens when you decide. I mean, I think that what has really come out of the last 3.5 years is how delicate democracy really is.
Yes.
And, for Black people, we've always known,
yes.
what the real deal is.
Mm-hmm.
But now when you see just all of the partisan politics that are playing into a pandemic, it's a virus.
Yes.
Politics should not be in this.
No. No.
And, and that's when I was saying, we can't be concerned about, are they going to rename the name of one of the forts or whatever? That, and eventually we could get to that. But right now, we need to stay focused on the movement and what's happening. And it's not necessarily about change the name of the Redskins. I don't care about that right now. What I care about is when my son gets in a car, will he come home?
Absolutely.
Or when I get in a car, will I come home?
Absolutely.
That's what I care about. And that's what this movement is about. It's about reform. And our kids need to be educated, and they need to go register and vote. And they, and don't tell me that there's no good candidate. Look what we ended up with when everybody said that. So.
Absolutely. How do we find out more about Girlfriends? We're out of here. 1 minute.
Well, go to, I can tell you, it's on every Saturday night.
Yes.
10 Eastern, 9 Central, and 10 on the West Coast. So 10, 9, 10. 10 Eastern, 9 Central, 10 Pacific. And we're on OWN, the Oprah Winfrey Network, and that's every Saturday night, starting next Saturday, July 11th, for 8 episodes. So hopefully we get more. Write in, tell OWN you want more episodes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much, lady. That's the end of the show. I appreciate you so much. It's been so fun, Kathy SAPP.
Thank you, Kim.
Oh, love you.
All righty. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye. Hey, guys, next week, we got a huge lineup. Until then, that's the Cam Hill Show. Have a good one. Bye.